Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Wrestle Addict Radio Network.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
What is going on, everybody?
What up, fam?
Hey, it's me.
What up, oozes?
What's up, guys? This is the Monday Night Delight.
Are you looking for a network that brings you all things pro wrestling? Then look no further. Wrestle Addict Radio brings you a varied source of wrestling content.
What's going on, guys? This is Willie T.
My name is Mr. Fretz.
This is your resident Smart Slayer.
Search for Wrestle Addict Radio on all major podcast platforms and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
Buzz, guys. My name is Kate Murphy of the Kings of the Ring podcast, and you are listening.
And you're listening. And you're listening.
And you are listening.
And you are listening.
Get ready for a war, because you're listening.
Come join the war each and every week as we fight to keep wrestling real.
What's up, everybody? This is Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
What up, fam? It's your boy, JC Bones, the host of the Fourth Wall WrestleCast, and you are making a change because you're listening to the Game Changer podcast, only on Wrestle Addict Radio.
With Ring of Pakistan, at Ring of Pakistan, hashtag ROP, cheap little plug there, and, experiences like that, and, Mania, and then I was in New York recently. I did a lot of traveling. I went to Spain by myself, to Madrid for a trip that was just all about relaxation. I actually went to Spain 3 times this year. So I always think of things in terms of travel because I've always wanted to see the world, and I feel lucky that I got to do that. Hosting some really cool conventions next year, so I have nothing but, great things to say, and I feel really grateful for what the year has afforded me, for sure. What about you, Nate?
Honestly, so far my 2020 is off to a rough start, so for those of you that are just tuning in right now to this deal, I did forget to actually turn on the microphone here, so all the intense, hype deals, stuff like that, unfortunately, they got lost, so I'm going to do like a little quick deal where I could talk about, where I could do this again. Like I said, welcome to the Game Changer Podcast. I am NateFNGreat, the epitome of the change of the game, and I'm being joined here by the Mistress of Sass, the Queen of Fabulous, the Patriarch of Marvelous, the Red Rose of the United Kingdom, the knockout that will truly keep you down for the count. This is indeed SoCal Val. She is the Mandy Rose to my Otis, because the fact is that's the only good thing that's happening in WWE. We're talking about 2019. We're going into 2020, and we'll answer some questions on Twitter. I think I covered everything. I think we're good now. So we did get to the point where you were talking about Spain, and hopefully people are not, having little birds flying over their heads after all that. So I apologize for the technical difficulty that I had there of me not pushing the right button, but I think we're all caught up. Everything is good. Hopefully you understood everything I said. So as far as my 2019 went, it was honestly the most eventful year that I had, because starting off, and this is no secret that there's been so many times throughout this year that our ships have kind of, passed each other, and we've definitely tried doing some fun stuff. We started off the year talking about Impact Homecoming, working with Fight TV, getting that. That was an absolute awesome opportunity. Only downside to that was the fact that the power went out, and I was just basically watching the entire show on my phone. So I was able to watch it. It was still good enough. So we had that. Then going into C2E2, which was the big comic book convention in Chicago. That was absolutely fantastic. Got to meet one of my favorite people of all time, that being CM Punk, my favorite wrestler. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I also got to meet the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, which was absolutely awesome. I also worked as I was working in the press, so I got the chance to do some interviews with some of the cosplayers that were there. It's definitely something that I am very proud of the fact, and I will definitely send a link to people if they would like to see that, because it was great. Big thing that culminated for this year was this year's WrestleMania, getting a chance to actually be able to mark that off my bucket list, be able to go to MetLife Stadium and be able to enjoy WrestleMania. But also, mentioned before, it wouldn't really be a WrestleMania unless our paths crossed, and it did, and it was great. We got the chance to sit down, talk, eat, and I even got to meet the lucky man that wooed your heart, which, in all honesty, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I know I'm second fiddle, but you know something? He's number one for a reason. So he is one of the best people.
He's lots of fun, isn't he?
He is just absolutely a lot of fun. And we actually hit it off pretty well. That was really awesome. I think while you were conversing with some kind of business deal, we were basically just kind of like, oh, yeah, this was cool. He talks about his experience with wrestling. It was great. Another big thing that happened this year was the fact that I went to the All Out show, and it was an absolutely fun time. I could talk like leagues about how amazing this experience was. To be able to do the meet and greets, to be able to talk to, some of the wrestlers that I've definitely come to really enjoy. I did this little deal where I gave roses to a lot of the women that I met during the show, and honestly, guys, you'd be surprised how many of them were very flattered by it, that loved it. 10 out of 10. So, for those of you that are wondering, yes, women like nice things. They don't need the disgusting stuff on social media.
That's a rumor that I've heard as well, Nate, that we like nice things.
I mean, I think you've definitely mentioned every now and then that you do love the good, the finer things, whether it's a nice wine or a nice dress, or even the simple things like a batch of gummy bears, whatever it is. Definitely want to.
Gummy bears, and I'm recalling our feast when we had a meal in Jersey. What did we have? Like the best of Americana, mozzarella sticks. This girl's not that fancy. You give me a mozzarella sticks, a plate of mozzarella sticks, and I'm a happy gal.
Definitely. Also, during that deal, I killed it at the karaoke. I also was able to ask Cody Rhodes a question, which my friend, the Dusty Dave, got to give a shout out to him because he is absolutely awesome. He was able to record that entire deal where I got the chance to interact with Cody Rhodes. For him to answer that question, that was great. Still one of the major highlights, like of all time. I'm talking even like first day baby born deal. That was the highlight, was just asking Cody Rhodes a question. Enjoying that, getting the chance to really connect with a lot more people throughout the year as far as like the wrestling community goes. And I think the ultimate thing for me this year, being able to call myself an uncle, be able to provide for two cute little baby boys who are sometimes a handful, but at the same time, they are absolutely adorable, and they are just absolutely just everything that I could have expected, if not more. And it is still one of those things where if I hold them, I try very hard to, hold back the tears, but it's very hard to do that. But I will also say this. I did say to them, hey, when you get old enough, maybe Uncle Nate will take you to a wrestling show. And the mother was just like, ooh, wouldn't that be fun? And I said, well, not right now, because they're still in that phase of, just getting to know the world a bit, but a little later on, maybe 4, 5, something like that, because I got
you guys started young, I think, right?
Yeah, no, they're. I will say this: that I was the last time that I saw them, and I got a chance to feed them and get a chance to have some fun times with them. I was actually wearing my Tessa Blanchard shirt, and one of them was actually looking very, very much at it. But then again, a lot of infants like the black and white colors. They're more attracted to that than more the colorful deals. So Tessa, you're a hit with the babies. I'm just going to say that right now. Shout out to Tessa Blanchard.
She's super over with the baby community.
But yeah, and ultimately one thing that was really cool was that there's a company here called ACW Wisconsin, and one of the things that I had the opportunity to do, other than sponsor them throughout the year, was do commentary for one of their anniversary shows in December. So it was kind of one of those things like, oh yes, this is something I need to talk to Val with, because we talk about, your commentary deal with WOS, and it is one of those things where, for me, it felt like home. It felt like something where it's like, I love this, love getting the chance to, talk about these guys, get a chance to, call play, do this kind of deal. It's absolutely great. But I do have to ask you this. When you were first, asked to do commentary, were you at all nervous, or were you at all, scared, before you had the headset put on you?
Well, good question. I did quite a bit of it for Shine Wrestling, but I'll tell you why that was different is because in Shine Wrestling, I did it for some independents as well, like back in the day, but when I really kind of started to cut my teeth on it was with Shine, but I have to say, I almost found it easier in Shine because I was doing it as the very villainous, very vindictive, vivacious and voluptuous Miss Valifornia, Evil Val. So when I was doing it as a heel character, I just found that I could really say whatever the F I wanted because I was able to be rude and mean. And this is probably not a great quality, but I'm able to come up with witty, mean quips very easily. And somehow it just comes very naturally to me. I don't know where it comes from. Probably by watching a lot of Real Housewives and movies like that, and movies and loving villainous characters like on TV and in films. So then with WLS, I remember thinking, okay, so this is, I need to be professional and take it a lot more seriously. But I have to say, I was explaining this to someone recently that actually, of course you want to sound professional, and I had to make sure that I sounded the way that I wanted to sound. But the more I was myself and the more valisms I said and like silly stuff like cheese and crackers and cream and sugar when something huge would happen, that was like my catchphrase. The more I was silly and more myself, the more they liked it. And actually the more American I sounded, because I think I sometimes get more American when I speak to British people. I had two British guys with me, Stu Bennett and Alex Shane, who are both phenomenal at commentary. That's a little intimidating as well, knowing how good they were. I just found that they liked me being me, and that is to WS's credit and the ITV team that we had. So I found that I was able to find my stride, trying to be professional, but also being myself and being silly. And thank God they liked it, and it worked, because that's kind of all I have. That's all I can be is me.
I think that's also one thing that's always cool about certain, companies, is that they allow you to be yourself, and they allow you to actually be able to just bring out that kind of personality and what your actual opinions are, instead of having somebody yell into your earphone and say, talk big about this person, or talk about how this person has done this, and blah, 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 blah. And that was one thing that I was kind of surprised by after the entire show. The guy next to me was like, oh, dude, that was absolutely awesome. I was very impressed by that. And then the commissioner, the on-air commissioner, he came up to me and said, yeah, I've heard nothing but positive things. He said you were very knowledgeable, you're very passionate, definitely like that. And I just remember saying, well, dude, if you want, I'd be more than happy to do that. He's like, dude, I expect that from you. And it's
you're that kind of person, though, Nate. Like you're so good and loquacious that everyone has their ways of contributing to the business. And obviously, with you being such a professional host, but still fun and likable and relatable, a lot of people that do hosting and commentary, they do take it way too seriously, and that's not what I think translates well on a TV show or on an independent wrestling show or what have you. So I think it's a perfect avenue for you. And me personally, I'd love to see you do it more in 2020.
You definitely will get that chance to do that, and I will definitely be trying to post as much as I can so that people can at least get a chance to do that. Also, what's really cool was that I also got the chance to do a commentary deal for another promotion here in Wisconsin, and I only did one matchup. It was a matchup between a guy by the name of Jay Cash and our boy Mr. Kennedy, aka Mr. Anderson, and I will tell you this, you have no idea how many people get really super jelly, especially with the friends that I have, when you say, oh yeah, I did announcing for a Mr. Anderson match. Me, I could play it off like, oh, I knew the guy, I've seen him, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's just like, what? You did this and you didn't tell anyone? And it's just like, you lucky SOB. It's like, it's Anderson. I mean, come on. Okay, that's fair enough. It's Anderson. What more can I really say about that?
That's how I felt too. Like doing the Undertaker event in Dusseldorf. Like the fact that I got to, I announced him to the stage. I thought I would never in a million years be able to announce the Undertaker to a massive crowd like that. That was like a pinch me moment. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. I'm jealous just hearing that. So I'm the friend, and you're me in that situation where it's like, oh geez, this is a good question for answer. But one thing that they said the promoter said the same thing. He said, like the fact that you're passionate, like what we heard. We'd love for you to do, commentary for the next time we come around to the area. So it's like, okay, cool. So I guess I'll be doing ACW mainly for the year, as well as Frontline Pro for when they come back to Stevens Point. And honestly, I will say this, one thing that we were kind of concerned about, but now we're at the point where everything is just really cool, really great, is the fact that we were kind of concerned about how one of our wrestlers here, Ben McCoy, was going to be, after the horrific incident where he actually broke his leg in, I believe it was September, if I'm not mistaken. But what's really great to hear is that he's doing well right now. He's I think he's cleared rehab. He's definitely had no limitations. So it's kind of one of those things where right now he's probably trucking away trying to get fully ready so we can get Ben McCoy versus Rob Van Dam in April. So Frontline Pro is going to have, so a little cheap plug there, but that's going to be absolutely a fantastic matchup just to see. And I'm really happy to hear that, Ben is doing absolutely so well, because this is a guy who's given so much. Looking forward to seeing his movie Still Here, which I can only give so much because they're still not quite done finishing the filming for the deal. But when it comes out, it's going to be an absolutely rocket buster, bar burner of a movie to watch. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, for a lot of people that are curious, I will be doing a lot more commentary for ACW mainly in 2020. And I did say that on one of the previous podcasts that one thing I definitely wanted to do was incorporate more wrestling personalities into Wisconsin. I've talked to so many of these people. People offhand that I've talked to were Shaza McKenzie, Rosemary, Andrew Everett, Mari the Moth, and no surprise at all, SoCal Val, about possibly coming here for a Wisconsin show. So it's all going to be one of those situations where we'll just have to talk it over with the promoters and stuff like that. Honestly, if it boils down to it, I would honestly love it if you came to Wisconsin and you just did commentary for one of the big shows. And honestly, just sitting...
Imagine, it'd be so cool. And you know what's funny is I think I've done maybe one show, maybe a house show in Wisconsin, but I've never really been around or anything. So it's cool always to go a place where you're not really that familiar, you haven't been oversaturated in. Oh, how fun. I
think it would be absolutely just fantastic to have that. But again, I got to talk to the promoters. It's nothing really concrete yet, but again, trying to get more people here. And there's even people that are just like, oh yeah, I would love to come work in Wisconsin. I've heard nothing but great things. And honestly, this past year, we've had people like Ted DiBiase, Arn Anderson, Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, people like that who have said, wrestling here in Wisconsin is absolutely great. And in Oshkosh, it's just a lot of fun to do that. And honestly, it's one of those situations where I'm not expecting Val to know every single wrestler. I'm just expecting her to just at least have fun with that. And there's probably gonna be so many times I can hear you just saying like, "Hey Nate, what can you tell me about this guy? He's either kind of mean looking." It's like, well, to be fair, he is kind of mean looking. This is Backwoods Brown. He's literally a tree.
Backwoods Brown, I love it.
That's just one of the many names that will be probably popping up at the 7th anniversary show. So that's the goal right now for 2020. Right now, get Val to Wisconsin for the 7th anniversary show in December. I'm going to try and push it. I'm going to talk to whoever I have to talk to about getting that to work. So, guys, hopefully you look forward to it.
Only if you're my co-commentator and we can just raise hell. That has to be what we're doing.
Well, I mean, that was just something that was just a given. I didn't think I had to say it, but thank you for reiterating it for us. But honestly, Val, what are some things that people can expect from you out of 2020? Any big plans so far?
You know what? I'm glad you asked because I was just discussing this. I went to a screening of Little Women tonight, and I was telling a friend of mine that I really, really want to get more into YouTube. And it's been something that, since I started blogging, I thought, okay, well, I don't know if I want to do YouTube videos. I'm used to being on camera, mostly editing my own videos and all that. I've done it for years and years. And then I just really got into more written blogs and photography and little videos here and there, and I'll still do all of that, but I've noticed more and more that a lot of people that I follow, they're doing more videos, and I thought, this is something that comes really, really, really naturally to me, because I'm an on-air person, I'm a presenter, so I noticed too that the best videos that I ever get the most comments from, I swear to goodness, Nate, is when I'm being my most silly, casual self. When I'm watching Real Housewives or RuPaul's Drag Race, or even especially Raw or wrestling, and I just speak my mind on Instagram, and I just act like my normal silly self. People always find it really funny, and I think, I guess I sometimes try to do it too much where I'm talking about a product or trying to come off as very serious, and I'm I just need to have fun with it. So my first one that I've done in a long time was when I was in Oslo. I just filmed most of the trip, and I edited all the clips together and made it a really fun vlog. If you go to my Twitter or my Instagram, you can see, especially on my Instagram, it's linked there in my bio. My YouTube channel it's already grown from about not very much to about 400 followers. I've just started using it, so I'm going to try to grow it more. But I think a lot more YouTube videos. I'd like to do at least one a week if I can. It'll range from everything from beauty influencing to fashion to styling to makeup to wrestling reviews to interviews with wrestlers, interviews with interesting people. And you know what? A lot of stuff that's just in my daily life. To be honest, I'd actually be happy spending some more time home next year. I traveled a lot this year, and I love it. But when I'm home, I think it'd be fun to do things like closet tours and, just a lot of casual stuff, a lot of Q&As from questions that people send in. So that's kind of my main focus as far as stuff for me. I'm obviously going to be doing a lot of Comic Cons. I've got Liverpool Comic Con coming up for the love of wrestling here in the UK. I'll be with Fight TV during WrestleMania week. That'll be amazing as always. But a lot of the same, but also some new stuff in terms of video. So that's where I'm really going to focus next year.
Honestly, that sounds like a lot of fun. And honestly, when we get to that point where we get you in Wisconsin, I definitely do expect one of those vlog videos to be your experience in Wisconsin. And
oh my gosh, yeah. We'll go do something hilarious. Got to.
Honestly, I've already talked to your agent about, some of the things that would basically go on with that. I said, I will take care of, just getting, like the hotel arrangements, about getting the travel deal. Honestly, basically what I had in mind for, like, the travel deal for so many people is, like, you know what? I'm literally going to take my car to the airport, be as professional as I can be. I'm basically going to be your personal Uber chauffeur for that entire deal.
We got to do videos for everything, man. We're talking in-car karaoke. Let's do it.
Now we're talking. Now we're getting to the point where it's like, oh, this is going to be an absolute fun deal. So definitely, so definitely now we are getting more and more motivation to get that going. So I do have this question because of the fact that the big grandest stage of them all is happening basically in your former kingdom in Florida, in Tampa, Florida.
Yep.
Are you going to be attending that event?
I am, and I was just about to interrupt you and say, please tell me that you're going to be at Mania this year so we can do a precursor to Wisconsin. That would be hilarious.
It's still on the fence for me. Like, I'm not going to be able to go to the event. I'm pretty sure it's already sold out. But
I think so, it is, yeah.
But something, it is one of those things where it's like, you're going down. I do have family that are down there, so I get a chance to, meet up with them. I'm not expecting go to Disney World or stuff like that, but maybe getting a chance to just hang out with some of the people that are down there, just maybe enjoying that. And honestly, maybe just watching the entirety of the event in my hotel room, just doing that, because honestly, as much as I could say that, MetLife was just a great deal, it was such a damn long show. And,
oh my God, yeah.
And it ended at the perfect timing because of the fact that it started storming, like, immediately after the main events ended. So that was a miserable time. So it was one of those things where it's like, WrestleMania is kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime deal. Do I want to do it again? Probably not, especially if I have a repeat of what happened there. And I guess from what I've heard, compared to what happened at WrestleMania 29, I think that the travel deals were a lot worse than what they were back then. So it's one of those things where it's like, probably not going to be that deal. But I will definitely be, keeping people posted on that, and definitely you for that matter, because we definitely do want to talk about, some WrestleMania precursors, maybe even get a chance to talk about the possibility of you coming to the North. Oh, geez. I'm just imagining this right now, that Wisconsin during December time is almost the worst time to come up here because there's going to be a lot of snow, there's going to be a little bit of ice there. So I'm just imagining you having like one of those giant faux coats that make you almost look like you're from Russia. What's a good example of that? Like Tina Fey from Muppets Most Wanted. She had like that deal where she had like the furry coat, the furry hat, stuff like that. I just imagine you doing that to a T, and so many people being like, Nate, why'd you bring a bear to the show? It's like, this is SoCal Val. That's
Val in there. No, you know me. I love a themed outfit moment. And hey, if I can brave Oslo, Norway in December, then I think I can brave Wisconsin. I love winter. I'm not a summery kind of a gal. I love cold weather and coats and gloves and all the accoutrements, scarves, earmuffs, all that. And I've got tons of it now, having lived in England for like over 3 years now. But I will touch on what you said with WrestleMania. I think a lot of people will agree that when they first go to Mania, it's like, I have to go to Mania. And it's all about going to the actual show. After that, you realize, especially having gone to so many now, actually, the best part about the whole week is just all the stuff leading up to it. The whole town is taken over. We've got the shenanigans party. We've got all these different events going on. And to me, by the time WrestleMania rolls around, I'm literally thinking, oh my, and I'm working with Fight TV, going to different shows, seeing wrestling for like a good solid 4 or 5 days. By the time Mania comes around, I'm like, I guess I'll watch it, but not the biggest deal, because last year I actually went to Al Snow's party. It was a viewing party at a sports bar, packed to the gills. It was fun, but I mean, it's such a long show that I thought to myself, I'm totally okay with not being there this year. So it is a great thing if you can experience it, but I mean, so many people come to Mania weekend and they don't even have tickets for WrestleMania. So there's so many great things leading up to it, especially stuff that I do, and I'm working that whole week. It's so much fun. And we have all the parties and stuff. You, of course, are welcome to shenanigans if you come. So I hope you do make it, but if not, we will have to do some sort of a virtual review or something too.
You know what? Definitely. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be more of a deal here, is that a lot of times we definitely do talk about doing these kind of deals, but I think we're going to start really pushing through them. And to kind of go off of what you were saying, when it came to the actual WrestleMania deal, one of the highlights was indeed, like you said, the stuff leading up to actual WrestleMania, because getting a chance to go to NXT TakeOver New York, which was by far one of the best events that I have seen all year. I mean, Walter versus Pete Dunne, thank you. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 falls. Okay, now you're spoiling me at this point. That's not fair. But then also getting a chance to go to the WrestleCon that took place in New York as well. There were so many bills that I got from that Uber. I'm sure they were very appreciative of my business with them that weekend. But getting the chance to meet so many people, and this past Christmas, I did something I never did before, and that was tag so many people and just giving personalized, Christmas greetings, basically saying, to this person, to Demon Bunny, Allie and Rosemary, talking about, the experience with them. Of course, I had to put SoCal Val in there because we're buds, we're besties. Why not? But so many, and honestly, one of the best moments was with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I basically was thinking, there's so many people here, I'm either going to get a like or a retweet or something like that, or maybe the kind of comment from that. Of course, I always get a comment from Val because we're tight like that, because we're absolutely awesome. And like I said, she's one of my best friends in wrestling.
Partners in crime.
Partners in crime, yes, the PICs. Now we're going to have to make matching shirts of just us with PIC and just arrows pointing at each other. I think that needs to be a thing now. But getting back to Hacksaw, I was not expecting a response from him at all. And Christmas Day, I look on there and I just see his response, because basically what I said was that, this guy's absolutely awesome. I'm just thankful that he didn't choke me out. He responds basically, he's like, well, you got off lucky there, fella. Merry ho, ho, ho holiday to you, sir. And I was just like, I officially love Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I will never say anything bad about him again. Just never. This guy's
so lovely. He's such a nice guy.
It's absolutely amazing just seeing, everything that he's done with his career, becoming the first Rumble winner, and a lot of people try to remember him as the guy who wears, blue shorts, and he has the 2x4. But you know something? There's another guy that had 2x4 by the name of Johnny, but people don't talk about that because Ed, Edd n Eddy is one of the greatest cartoons of all time. That's beside the point. But yeah, honestly, it's just really cool getting that chance to talk to so many different people. One that is a huge sentimental photo for me was my photo with Ashley Massaro, because because obviously a lot of people know that about a few months after WrestleMania happened, she is no longer with us. So getting the chance to actually have that photo with her and getting a chance to actually talk to her, she was one of the sweetest people that I had ever met, and it's one of those things where you definitely do appreciate people when they are not here more than when they are here. I know that's kind of a dark thing to say, but at the same time, it's very true. So many people we appreciate even more. One video that keeps coming up on my holiday deal is the one with Roddy Piper, where he does the 12 Days of Christmas, and he's basically beating up the quote-unquote president of the Piper fan club, where he's talking about eye gouges, stale chair shots, a couple low blows, and he ends it with just, and a sleeper hole just for you. Just one of the greatest things of all time. But yeah, just having those kind of photos definitely do just hit you in the heartstrings, and they definitely do make you realize, life is precious and life is too short to worry about that. So that's one thing I definitely take away from 2019, is that I was trying to live life to the fullest, and it rewarded me more than I ever expected, and I think it even spoiled me a little bit, but that's beside the point.
No, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's bittersweet, because someone actually just sent me a picture of Ashley and I recently, and she was such a lovely girl. When you meet somebody who has such a fun spirit, and they're smiley and they're sweet, you look back and you just think, my goodness, they always say that you don't know what's going on with someone on the outside, because people that seem like they got it all together and they're happy and everything's great, you never know what struggles they're going through. So we were never, super close, but she was such a sweet girl. I had her number. We had texted a few times, and, like I said with Roddy Piper, there are so many people that we've lost in wrestling, and unfortunately, the older we get, the more it happens. And I always say that when I started in wrestling, the people that were passing away, I didn't really understand who they were. Then the people that were passing away, I had maybe met once or twice. Then it becomes people that you knew. Mean Gene, for example, hit me and my husband really hard because we had spent a whole weekend, a couple weekends actually, with him doing shows, and he was just so lovely. And, these things happen where you just think, wow. You look back and you think, at least I got to be around them for at least I have these nice memories of them, And it is sad, and it's sad the people that we did lose, but like you said, it's nice to have these photos to look back and just remember the good times, remember them how they were when they were happy,
Oh, definitely. And, speaking of good times, one of the biggest things that I could ever accomplish happened where one thing I always love is that if I can make an impact on somebody and they can remember me for it, it's something that I will always cherish for a lifetime. And one of the biggest things that happened to me was that I went to one of the ACW shows, and Swoggle, who was actually the promoter there, he basically comes up to me while we were just kind of getting ready for tickets and stuff like that. He just comes up to me very casually, just goes, "Grunman?" And we just shook hands. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, did a wrestler just come up to me and just literally like instantly be like, "Hey, it's this dude. He's awesome." It's like, it's like if we barely saw each other, Val, and you were just that person saying, "Oh my gosh, you're that guy that always talks to me on Twitter. You're awesome." And, okay, to be fair, I feel the same way every single time we talk. It's like, how have I made this kind of impact with this woman for how many years we've been talking? It's been honestly a long time since we've talked. I think that I'm coming up to the anniversary of when I started doing podcasting, and I remember first year, again, being that you were the first person that I ever reached out to, and I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to do that well with her, and literally, she's probably got so many other things that she could be doing, and it's almost now reaching a point where anytime that I say, like, "Hey, would Val be able to do a show?" I think your agent always just says, "What took you so long? She's been wanting to do shows for like so."
Exactly. And then by the first one, it was like, okay, this is too good to just do one time. We gotta keep this up. We gotta give the people what they want.
It's just absolutely fantastic. Another person that I definitely loved the fact that I got a bit of an impact on was, I mentioned them before, Allie and Rosemary. First time meeting them at the first All In event, which ironically enough was the first time we met up in person. Getting a chance to talk to them and just be able to just talk like, "Hey, I loved everything you've done with your career. It's been absolutely awesome." I mean, obviously people are going to know that I do prefer Rosemary over Allie. It kind of was one of the most awkward things that happened first day, but whatever. By the time that the third time we met was at All Out, and literally Rosemary was just like, "Oh, that's Nathan. He's cool. He's fine with us." And just getting the chance to give them the flowers like I did, just seeing the smiles on their faces. Allie got like a little nice white rose, and Rosemary was like, "Do I get the black one?" I said, "Of course you do. Why wouldn't you?" And she's like, "Yes," and she just has like a smile on her face. And one thing I literally loved about that whole deal was that one of their highlight videos for the Masters of the Multiverse, which is their YouTube series, I absolutely love it. It's absolutely just something great. And I will say this, that I didn't realize how much Allison Kay hated Christmas until I reached that episode, and now it just keeps coming back where it's like, oh yeah, she was in that Christmas rub. Oh boy. Good thing I did not say, Merry Christmas to her now, because she probably would have came after me. It was literally to the point where there's that scene from the Jim Carrey Grinch where he just is just looking at a phone book and just saying, hate, 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 double hate, loathe entirely. That is literally Allison Kay. It's just, it's definitely higher up in my movie rankings than the Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch, especially when you got creepy carolers chasing after Grinch. Oh God, that's just horrible. I literally said that this was literally Allison Kay in the Christmas realm, where Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch, he's just walking away. Here are these carolers basically just chasing after him. He's trying to run away. Nope, they're peering out of houses. Then they're coming in West Side Story mode. It's like, what? No.
Yeah, that's a hard one to follow, isn't it? I just watched the original, not the original Grinch, the Jim, yeah, there you go, Freudian slip. The Jim Carrey Grinch, the best Grinch, with my little nieces and nephew, and it's so funny. There's so many funny quips from him that you watch it and you see things you didn't even realize the first time you didn't even notice, and he is just, it's untouchable.
Oh my gosh. No, you're definitely right about that. Speaking of untouchable, one thing that was definitely untouchable from this past year that we kind of talked briefly about, but maybe we should go a little more into context with this, was talking about how Avengers Endgame is one of the highest grossing movies of this year, and honestly the highest grossing movie of all time, ladies and gentlemen, because it was absolutely fantastic. It was great, and I got the chance to watch it not once, not twice, not three, not four, but 5 times. I'm the 5-time Avenger watching champion. Yes, I'm coming for your title, Booker T. It was one of those movies that some people were kind of just like, it's kind of a little bloated, overrated. I was literally watching it like, I have cried at the same 3 moments of that entire movie. So if it has that kind of impact on me watching it 5 times, then you know it's that damn good. But honestly, I want to know your thoughts on Avengers Endgame. And does it still kind of hold out to you as one of the best movies of this year?
I think absolutely, and it's one of those things that you see how long it is. Everyone says, it's kind of long. It's just one of those movies you don't even notice. It's so damn good. I think it's probably one of the best. My favorite Marvel film, I think, of all time would probably still be the original Iron Man, but at this point, there are a lot of Marvel movies to choose from, but I think it's got to be up there as one of the very best. Just pretty flawless from start to end, if you ask me.
No, definitely. And speaking of Iron Man, I find that really funny that you bring that up because really it's dwelling on me more and more that Robert Downey Jr. is becoming one of my favorite actors of all time just because of some of the roles that he has portrayed. I mean, he definitely could play the cool, kind of smarky guy in Tony Stark, but he could also just be... Oh my gosh. One of my favorite roles that he's done was during Tropic Thunder, and him just doing like the whole quote-unquote blackface deal, whatever. But just him just acting like he's supposed to be this black guy. It's just absolutely amazing. My favorite scene probably from that entire movie is just him saying, Lance! What the F did I just hear, Lance? Just... and he's just like, hey man, everybody's gay once in a while. Ain't no problem. It's like, what are you doing? But at the same time, keep doing it. I absolutely love it. Just Robert Downey Jr., I don't know if I've said this before, but I'll say it now. He definitely deserves best male actress in the Academy Awards coming up for, oh gosh, just with that and just with Endgame performance alone, absolutely great. I'm also looking forward to his performance in Dr. Dolittle. It looks absolutely awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I just saw. It wasn't really a preview per se. It was like the commercial where he's sort of auditioning animals to be in the movie. And I haven't seen an official trailer yet. If it's out, I need to go find it. But I just love him. I think he's so versatile. You know, even him in the Sherlock Holmes films, and of course my favorite is him as Iron Man. But he's just such a versatile actor. It seems like a really, really likable guy. He's kind of the total package in terms of Hollywood actors.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to the day where you go on like a red carpet or something like that, and you just happen upon Robert Downey Jr., and I could just see you kind of fangirling out, being like, oh my gosh, it's Robert Downey Jr., see if I could get a picture with them, and he'd be like, yeah, no problem, that'd be fine. Just takes a picture with you, like, no problem. I will literally be like, I'll be the first person to basically comment just saying, how much did you fangirl, Val? Just, no reason whatsoever, just very curious, and I can guarantee your reaction will be like, I was fangirling a lot. And at the bottom I was like, yeah, kind of figured.
I would fangirl, oh my gosh, to meet him, that's amazing. I met Benedict Cumberbatch at London Film and Comic Con, and they was like, oh, this is Ben. I was like, he's not Ben, he's Benedict Mother effing Cumberbatch. And I love it, especially because I love Sherlock. I think it's one of the smartest show I've ever seen, ever, other than The West Wing in terms of writing. And oh my god, he's amazing. Now, to be Robert Downey Jr., there's some stars that I feel like I just couldn't meet them. They're just too cool. I would act like an idiot, and I don't think I could meet him. I think he's on that list of, like, I couldn't do it. It'd be nice to see him from afar, but, like, I couldn't speak to him. What the hell do you say? You're brilliant!
You know, I think that's one of those fears that a lot of people definitely do have. I think that, you know, when it comes to, like, actors and stuff like that, I think that with that, it's kind of one of those situations where you're kind of scared, A, you might like them too much, or B, they might turn out to be like the Primadonna kind of deal. I think that's just from my point of view. With wrestling, I definitely do feel like there's always those times where it's like, oh man, I'm going to meet this person, it's going to be awesome. And there's some people where it's like, they are kind of like the Primadonna kind of person, or they're kind of the person where it's like, yeah, I'm just here for the paycheck, whatever. But then there's like people you meet, and it's just like, wow, I never expected you to be just, absolutely amazing, one of my favorite people. And one of my earlier tweets from today was talking about Leva Bates, a.k.a. Blue Pants, who was one of the sweetest people that I just absolutely met. I think I was the second or the third person to meet her at the meet and greet, and she talks about how we had to wake up early, she had to do the video game tournament, and then go from there to doing that. I'm literally just like, she's amazing, she's determined, and still having that same spirit where she could just absolutely be one of the sweetest people that you could ever meet. It's just absolutely awesome. I literally said, I think the only picture I need right now is just a picture of me and Leva just hugging, just because that will just complete my circle of just absolute happiness, because she is absolutely fantastic. But maybe I'm just fanboying out about Leva Bates as the librarian, who, in all honesty, is one of the best gimmicks. If you don't believe me, somebody actually asked the Elite that question, where they said, like, what do you think is the greatest gimmick of all time, and why do you think that it's the librarian? Young Bucks, Hangman Page, Omega, they're just...
That's funny. She's so talented, isn't she?
She really is. It's one of those things where it's like, yep, she could be sweet, but she can be a hard hitter in the ring. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, she's great, and I've known her for ages, from being in Orlando, and she was trained by the Dudleys, and I've seen her, evolve into different characters and different promotions, and it's one of those things that she's the type that I always think, why was she not signed to a full-time contract? It's actually better that she wasn't, though, because she's actually gotten to work for so many different promotions and be respected, and you'll never find someone that has a bad thing to say about her. She's absolutely lovely, so professional, so sweet. Again, we're talking about total packages. That's exactly how I would describe Leva Bates. Or Blue Pants, or the librarian, all of the above.
No, I definitely will agree with you there. I think one of the other highlights that was kind of more of a negative to me, but I've kind of looked back on it as a bit of a positive, because it kind of got my name out there, per se, there was this video with MJF where he literally is doing his meet and greets. He's got this pillow out where he's just sleeping during the deal. People are, doing photographs with him, and he's just like, oh, dude, this is smelly, and blah, blah, blah. And for about 10 to 15 seconds, somehow I got put into this video. How? I have no idea. I thought I was just doing this deal where I'll have to definitely send you the link to that, because it's one of those things that I still look at and think to myself, this is why I hate this dude. Where I'm basically just talking about, hey, I got these flowers for all the women that I'm meeting at the events, and blah, blah, blah. And MJF is just hurling insults at me, where he's just being like, what, are you so dry for material that you have to introduce a fat dude? What's up with that? Hey, ask him about his Tempur-Pedic shoes and his type 3 diabetes. Ask him where he won his fake belt. I'm literally just like, they reached a point where I'm just like, I'm just ignoring this dude. It's just, I absolutely despise MJF, but not in the way where it's like, I'm sick of this dude. I'm just at the point where it's like, you know what? I despise him so much that I actually admire him, and I actually respect what he's done. He's one of the biggest heels in all professional wrestling. People can fight me on that. I dare you to. And he has done a fantastic job with AEW. And I'm looking forward to seeing what his quote-unquote conditions are going to be come January 1st to get possibly against Cody Rhodes. So AEW come 2020 is already awesome.
I took kind of a while to discover him for myself. I kind of was like, who's this guy? I kind of started seeing all the tweets. And yeah, he's really talented. He seems like somebody who doesn't need a lot of coaching when it comes to, promos and being the character. He seems to kind of eat, sleep, and breathe himself. So he's lots of fun to watch.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely awesome. So one of the things that we definitely do want to do is try to talk about, definitely do get some more, get some, jeez, now I got my words mixed up. Let me try this again. One thing that we definitely do want to do is take some questions from people that are on Twitter, we definitely did try to promote it as much as we can. And I actually want to state this right now, that one of the tweets I sent to Leva Bates, she actually liked it, and she actually replied with the two smiley face, like the two smiley faces, and they got the hands to the face or something like that. So I'm guessing it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm expected now to give Leva a hug next time I see her. We need to make this photo happen. And
yeah, it's a verbal contract.
It's a verbal contract via Twitter. Thank you very much, ladies. Yeah. So, we did actually get one question here, but we also got a nice little comment from Edgar Roy 9, who says nice one. And I assume that when he says nice one, I think that he's talking about the picture that we had that we've been promoting for weeks now. The Game Changer podcast photo where Miss Valerie has a belt, I have a championship belt. She definitely looks a lot more, it's better with a belt than I do, but that's why she's the belt sister, and I'm just a belt bro. So, so thank you, Edgar, for that. We definitely do need to plug the guy. I believe it's James A. Goodwin. He's on Twitter, I believe it is. And we've been trying to promote him as much as we can, so definitely check out his stuff. It's absolutely awesome. So the other one was from at jski711. And this is going to be a bit of an interesting one, because considering the fact that we kind of already talked about the availability that she is in certain areas, he asked the question, how can I take SoCal Valerie on a date? And he has a nice little smiley face at the end there. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if I can answer this before for you can. All you have to do is tempt her with cookies and gummy bears, and she will go out with you. Let's just say that right now.
Basically, yeah. Like, if he's cool with my husband tagging along, we can totally no, it's funny, though, that because we were talking about the Valifornia podcast and stuff and, like, doing more videos in 2020, because what my friends and I were, and I'm not sure if I'll bring my own podcast back, or I have so much fun on yours, I'm just going to borrow yours, Nate. But we did talk a lot about dating, and I find it really interesting that, he's obviously asking about me, but in general, I think it's interesting when people ask about dating advice and sort of how to ask girls out, this and that. So that wouldn't be a bad idea for a podcast, about that, because I feel like a lot of people do write in and ask questions because, maybe they've got a special gal in their life, they don't know how to ask her out. So yeah, I think that maybe into 2020 we should seek out being love gurus on a special episode. Maybe a Valentine's episode. Ooh la la.
Oh my gosh. I think, in all honesty, that's probably going to have to happen, where we just look on, like, Google Engine or something like that, where it's like the most asked questions about relationships, and we just kind of give our thoughts and processes about that.
Go through, yeah.
Oh man, I think you know what? I think we're going to definitely have to make that happen. So definitely look out for that come Valentine's Day. It's going to be a Valifornia-rific episode where we talk about Valentine's Day and how you can get girls or how you can get guys. Either way.
Ooh, it's the love special.
The love special. Oh my gosh. Well, every single day that we talk, I love you more and more, and it's one of those situations it's one of those situations where it just gets better and better, because somehow, like I said, when we first started talking, I honestly did not think that we would probably have like a single thing in common. I mean, you're SoCal Val. You're like one of the hottest knockouts in all of TNA.
Oh.
And it's one of those things where it's like, this woman's going to be completely out of my league. There's no way that this is going to work out. Now it's more like, this is literally like Not in My League, that movie where the guy basically has this hot girlfriend, and she is like too perfect for him, to the point where he's like, you're just too perfect. I can't do this. I'm not to that point yet. I'm not to the point where it's like, okay, she's too perfect, we can't do shows anymore. No, that'll never happen.
Then you meet me and we start talking, and it's like, oh my god, she's a total nerd. Like, proudly so.
No, it's just absolutely awesome. Just getting the chance to know that, hey, a lot of people that you idolize and quote unquote worship, depending on your deals, they're just people just like us. And honestly, Val has turned out to be one of those people that I could almost literally just walk into a room with, and we will both just be like, oh, hey, how's it going? And we're acting like we've been friends for like decades, which ironically enough is the end of the decade for for us. because we're going into 2020. So it's going to be an absolutely crazy deal. So I think one of the best questions we can definitely end off on is, SoCal Val, do you have any New Year's resolutions going into 2020?
Oh my gosh, great question. I've got a lot of sort of things like, I procrastinate a lot, this and that. I think the YouTube one, honestly, is, to me, sort of one of my business resolutions. I wouldn't say it's a resolution, but like I said, I say this now, I'll be traveling crazy, but I would like to kind of focus on being home a little bit more. It's been a lot of travel, especially like traveling for work. And it's funny because people just kind of go, well, listen, my job is not strenuous, but all the traveling is just tedious and all that. But yeah, I think resolutions, I try not to make them super silly, like people are like, oh, I'm going to just change my whole life. I think you got to take things in moderation, but yeah, procrastination is one of them for sure. And as far as career stuff, like I said, I think the YouTube stuff is the thing I really want to focus on. I mean, hey, ask me again in another few months, but as of now, I'm really excited to be doing that, to get my house in order, to be able to film more at home, and sort of let people in, to have a glimpse of my real life, as well as all the traveling and professional stuff I do. I'd love to start doing some stuff where it's kind of more the real Val on cam, So I'm looking forward to that. How about you, Nate?
Honestly, I'm looking forward to the first edition of the UK original series known as Keeping Up with the Valifornia People.
Yeah. At home with Val.
At home with Val. I love it. As far as like this year goes, definitely, I said it before, I want to get some more wrestling personalities out here to Wisconsin, because I think that a lot of people definitely do overlook it, because a lot of people definitely know that we are north of one of the biggest wrestling cities of all time, that being Chicago, Illinois. But there's been some great wrestling moments here. There's been some great wrestling personalities that have come through here, that have actually been born here. I mean, my God, I think there needs to be a podcast episode where we discuss some of these people that have come through our areas. I mean, honestly, it could be like the UK and Florida versus Wisconsin. And honestly, she probably will have the edge on there because she's got Walter, damn it. But
Walter, how scary.
But another one that I definitely am going to be working on is trying to lose a little bit of weight. And one of the best ways that I have done that is I've already gone out and purchased some DDP yoga. So come 2020, I'll get the chance to lose a bit of weight, maybe get some more flexibility, and then next time when I see MJF, I can literally just do like a backflip right in front of him and be like, not bad for a guy who has diabetes, huh?
In your face. What's funny? I just started doing more yoga as well, and I've done DDP yoga. It is fantastic. You're going to so love it. You're going to love how you feel.
Oh, awesome. Very good to hear that. And another great person to hear a great recommendation from, and that being, of course, DDP Yoga. I'm just doing this right now. Shout out to DDP for creating DDP Yoga, and we'll definitely give them a cheap little plug here. You've heard it from Val. You've heard it from people like Chris Jericho. You've heard it from so many great people. DDP Yoga is definitely the best and one of the healthiest ways to get fit, so definitely check that out, you guys. All right, so before we go, it's time for the cheap plug. So, Val, questions are, where can they find you, as well as what can they expect with you in the next couple months?
Oh, a lot of silliness, a lot of nonsense. I use Twitter a lot, at SoCal Valerie, and of course Instagram I use pretty much just as much, at official SoCal Val. You'll find a link to my YouTube in my bio of Instagram. You'll see me tweeting about it on Twitter. There's a Facebook page under Valerie Wyndham. I'm in a green outfit if you want to find me on there, but I really use Twitter and Instagram more. Expect a lot more blogging, a lot more vlogging, and a lot more fun from Valifornia.
It's going to be absolutely awesome just to see that. So as soon as I get done with this podcast, I will definitely have to subscribe to Valifornia's YouTube deal if I already have not. Definitely, if you can check us out, guys, I am on Twitter at RealFNGame. You can check us out on so many great podcasting formats, including Spotify, Spreaker.com, iTunes, so many other great places. Just look for the Game Changer podcast. Look for us there. And honestly, 2020 is going to be an absolute game changer. And I'm not saying that because, everybody says that in WWE every 10 minutes. I'm waiting for my royalties, WWE, just so you know. When NXT says it, I don't expect it from them. AEW, don't expect it from them. WWE, you use it like it's the word the. Give me my royalties, damn it. I know that you have some legal allegations, but we're not going into that because that's stupid. So, guys.
But hey, they have your address. They know where to send it.
I would be very surprised if they did. if they, I mean, I could literally just send them like a letter a day, just saying like, hey, I want my royalties, address here, and then finally I'll just get like this giant like box of all my letters and just one letter from Vince McMahon just saying, stop writing to me, damn it, I will fire you. It's like, I don't even work for you, dude. It's like, I don't even work for you, dude. But yeah, we've talked about the resolutions. We've talked about things that have gone on for 2019 as well as going into 2020. I think that we have time for at least for maybe one more story from this year. And in all honesty, one thing that I am definitely very proud to be plugging is the fact that I will be starting a bit of a podcast series for a lot of the stars in ACW, where I will get the chance to sit down and talk with ACW stars about, their life on the road, their life in wrestling, how they became a wrestler, some of the stuff like that. And already for January, I have the Players Club, or they're known as the Players Club, but I call them the Players Club because Theodore Long, thank you. February, I've got Raging Nathan Gust. I've got Nick Colucci in April for Wrestling Con, which I will say this, it's still built up as one of the best shows of the year because, like we said before, we have the Insane Column Posse coming. We have the Boogeyman. We have the lovely Melina, who, oh my gosh, she is an absolute sweetheart, and that'll probably be the final story I'll end it with. And also, hey yo, it's your boy, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, a part of that show. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Oh, and they also added Colt Cabana. How could I forget about this dude? Oh my gosh, now I'm torn between the Colt Cabana story and the Melina story. I'm going with Colt Cabana since it's a little more relevant. So, during the All Out show, it's actually really funny because they had, I think it was like the Marty and Flip pre-show party before that. It was like right across the street from the show, and
that was when he wasn't booked, right?
Yeah. So Colt Cabana was doing a podcast for a deal, and there is this nice place from Chicago. I think it's like the Chicago Culinary Food Arts, I believe was the name of it. They bring up these these two burgers up to them, and Colt Cabana made the poor misjudgment of saying, "We really wouldn't want to eat in front of you because we wouldn't want to feel bad." And I just remember actually screaming, "Take one bite!" And Colt's like, I'm not gonna. This is not a food deal." And I just started getting people behind saying, "Take one bite, take one bite." Colt's just like, F it. So he grabs the burger. We do the classic, "Oh yeah." He takes the bite, and he just goes, "I need a napkin. Culinary Arts, you can't give me the greasiest burger of all time without giving me some kind of napkin." It was just absolutely...
Isn't he awesome? He's so funny.
God. I absolutely love meeting Colt Cabana. He's absolutely great. I've met him 2 times this year. One time was at WrestleCon. Got the chance to talk to him a little about the podcast deal before he wrapped it up. And then there's this one silly photo where I said to him, see how well you do because he decides to take the selfie deals. I said, well, ODB says that she's like the queen of selfies. And he basically, in the third photo, just grabs his man boob, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's a shot. That's a shot to ODB. But it's just going to be awesome to see Colt Cabana, one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. And there's so many people that would disagree with me, but I don't care. That's my opinion. He's absolutely awesome. We have reached our point, so Valerie, I want to say thank you so much again for coming on the show. And looking forward to doing more shows with you in the future, especially for the February Lovers Edition, that being, of course, the Valentine's episode that we will definitely be talking about as soon as the show goes off the air.
Indeed. Nate, it's always a pleasure, and you know what? I think 2020 is going to be the best year yet.
I definitely agree with you there. So for SoCal Valerie, I've been NateFNGreat. You've been listening to the Game Changer Podcast, a part of Wrestle Addict Radio. Talk to you guys in the next episode. It's going to be awesome. 2020 is going to be a great year for wrestling, guaranteed, as well as for pop culture, let's face it. Although Endgame definitely did raise the bar quite a bit. So thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.